Trying to forget about somebody who hurt you in the past it's a difficult and lengthy process, but the solution to it is actually quite simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. But it's also important to note that depending on the severity of your trauma, what this person may have done to you, the length of your relationship, or how bad the rejection was, or whatever the situation is, these factors are going to come into play with this. And this might not be necessarily a one-size-fits-all solution, but I definitely think it's a step in the right direction. And I definitely do think it'll get you closer to the peace and the closure that you're looking for. It's basically a two-step sort of thing. The first step is you need to allow yourself to process and feel all of the emotions that are attached to this. You have to learn to fully accept everything. When you start to do this and you finally process the emotions, you're going to notice that the thoughts are going to start to subside. This is a really interesting thing I learned in the book Letting Go by David Hawkins. That book was one of the reasons that I even started this whole channel, because I was going through my own pain and heartbreak at the time, and I discovered this book. And what he teaches us is that the thoughts and the emotions are actually interconnected. They're sort of like one thing. They kind of depend on each other. So when you learn to feel all of the emotions, and that's all that is, it's to put it in the most practical way, it's literally physically relaxing your body and just allowing all of the pain to just be there and let it come up, and it will pass. I promise you it will. It always does. It takes time to get good at this, especially if you're not used to doing it. A lot of us are just so used to resisting everything. But when you get good at doing this and you get better at feeling, all of the emotions will start to subside. When that starts happening, the thoughts will kind of start to subside on their own as well. But even if you do process all of the emotions and you accept it and the pain starts to go away and the thoughts might start to lessen, but they might still be there. This is the second solution. This is what I made this video about. This is how to actually forget about them. You have to make a promise to yourself that you're going to stop thinking about them, and you have to commit to it. This isn't going to be easy, but all of this kind of work, all of things that cause us this pain in life, all of this sort of personal development work, all the things that help us to grow is challenging and it's hard, but we have to do it. Now, this is literally as simple as when you start finding yourself thinking about this person, when you find yourself getting lost in the memories, when you find yourself trying to replay certain scenarios in your mind, like, oh, I should have did this differently, or if I said this, maybe they would have liked me, or oh, maybe if I go do this, now I'll impress them and they'll take me back, or they'll like me, or whatever. You have to let all of this go. You have to make a commitment to yourself that you're going to stop falling into these thinking traps, because that's all they are. They're just traps. Thoughts are never going to solve anything. You're never going to solve anything by thinking. You're going to just continue to make yourself miserable, because when you're not thinking about this person, you're not feeling the pain, you're not suffering. But the thing is, usually when we're going through these types of scenarios, we're always thinking about them. They're always on our mind. So that's why we're just living in misery 24/7. But when your mind is focused on something else and you're not thinking about them at all, it's not bothering you. If I were to just sit here and stare at these trees for 5 hours straight and just focus on the trees, observe the trees, and that's it, there would be no pain. Like, nothing else would bother me, because all of my mind and my energy is consumed by the trees, you see? So basically, the point is, when the thoughts come up about this person, you have to pull yourself away from thinking about them. And some people might say that, oh, that's not healthy. You have to go back and you have to, examine what you did wrong and what you can do better. Yes, you're right. But that's not the kind of thinking I'm talking about. I'm talking about the intrusive type of ruminating thoughts that you're not controlling. I'm talking about when you're just a slave to your mind and you have no control over it, and it's literally just, the thoughts are just harassing you all day. That is what I'm telling you to pull yourself away from. A really good way to do this is every time that a thought about this person or whatever pops up, is to just put all of your awareness to your physical body and just feel instead. And like I said, the thoughts and the emotions are interconnected most of the time. So when you pull yourself away from the thoughts and feel the emotion will start to pass and the thought will leave with it, because they're kind of one and the same. It's really weird. But when you start doing this, you'll see what I mean. It's like sometimes something can really be bothering you. And not even just with relationship or breakup stuff, but like anything, like something can really be bothering you. But when you kind of like allow yourself to accept the feeling or the emotion behind it, the thought in your mind kind of goes away too. It's really interesting. It almost works like a magic pill. But yeah, this is what I had to do, and it definitely takes some getting used to, but it really does work. And you have to be patient with yourself, and you have to be very vigilant. I think we expect things to just be very easy, and we should just get over this person because we want to. But listen, nothing that's worth it in life is easy. Situations like this, when your mind has been so conditioned to be thinking about this person all the time because you were maybe with them for a long time, or you just allowed yourself to entertain all of these fantasies and these thoughts for so long, for months, for years, and you were kind of living in this little, fantasy fairy tale world. Your mind got so conditioned to thinking about them, and now it has to stop, but it's so used to thinking about them that you don't know how to, break that conditioning. And that's all that we're doing when we're trying to stop the thoughts. Because these thoughts, sometimes in the psychology world, this is known as limerence. Limerence is like this sort of fantasy type of obsessive compulsive thinking that you have about somebody, usually a romantic interest. And the trick to stop, you really just have to break yourself out of it. You can't let yourself get lost in these fantasies and these thinking traps. You have to be very vigilant to break yourself out of it. But the important part is to not resist the thoughts. You don't want to get angry at yourself. You don't want to try to make the thoughts go away. The idea is to just redirect your attention either to maybe your breathing, or maybe whatever you're doing in the present moment, or like I said, feeling your body is a really good one. Just putting all of your awareness, instead of thinking, just put all of your awareness to your physical body. This is extremely helpful. But yeah, you really have to just break up the thought patterns. That's the most important aspect. Don't allow yourself, just make a promise to yourself right now with me. Make a promise to yourself, I'm not going to think about this anymore. It's over and it's done with. I'm moving on. I'm not going to give any more of my attention or my energy to this situation. And I'm going to move past it. Thoughts are literally endless. You can go over these situations a million times in your head. You're never going to resolve anything. All you're going to do is keep burying yourself deeper into depression and misery. Trust me. You'll never figure anything out in your mind. You have to let go of thinking about it so much. You really have to just stop. I mean, I know that sounds it almost sounds too easy, and it almost sounds kind of silly maybe, but I mean, what other solution is there? Some people go their whole life, they're probably still thinking about people from the past, for years. And you really just have to break it. I mean, you have to break the thinking patterns. You have to break the thought patterns. I think this is typically how therapists recommend you get over these limerent type of fantasies, is you just have to stop allowing yourself to entertain it and understand that it's all it is. It's just a fantasy in your mind. It's not reality. It's not happening right here and now. If something's not happening right here in this present moment, it's not real. So that's my solution for that. It has worked for me. Be patient with yourself. It might take some time, and that's okay. These things do take time. And if you do want to purposely go back and maybe revisit certain scenarios or situations, this has to be done very consciously. This isn't something that's going to your mind is going to carry you into. Your mind only carries you into negative thought loops. If you want to consciously sit down and try to think of okay, well, what did I do wrong in this situation, and how can I improve? What could I do better next time? Maybe what was wrong with this person? Think about these things from a more logical perspective. That's going to be something that's done very diligently and with intention. You know what I mean? That's not the type of thinking I'm talking about. I'm talking about breaking these fantasy thought patterns that you don't really control, that just kind of pop up and you allow yourself to get carried away on some cloud. You got to stop that. So make a commitment to stop thinking about it so much. Break off of it, and stay focused on other things. Stay busy. Staying busy is really important. Dating other people, maybe staying focused on things that you love, having a good friend group, just staying active. This happens the most. The most I think this happens to is people who are very lonely, people who are bored a lot of the time, who don't have a lot going on in their life. They definitely get stuck in these thought patterns a lot more than somebody who's very active, has a good group of friends, who's dating a lot of people. They'll definitely get over someone from the past a lot quicker, I think. But then again, this is all very nuanced. It really depends on your situation. It depends on the severity of the trauma. If they cheated on you or something like that, that could probably take a lot more time to heal from. So it really all does depend, but and don't take my word for any of this. Just try it out for yourself and let me know what you think.